Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rakahak Wadash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who ruled and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure to the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video. And in this video, I'll be profiling a little bit of this clip from Redacted's YouTube channel titled, "They Are Hiding a Massive UFO Base in Antarctica." You know, Redacted with Clayton Morris. And, I'm just going to play about the first 4 minutes or so of this clip and jump around a bit. But, the main point that they're going to be talking about is how you've got all these governmental agencies dealing with an uptick in so-called UFO sightings. And while the, in quotes, UFOologist Clayton Morris is going to be interviewing, is going to be talking about extraterrestrials and reverse engineered technology, that's all bullshit. These so-called UFOs are actually the chariots of the Most High, and they're not piloted by little green men or the Greys with big heads and black eyes. They're piloted by the angels of the Most High, which have the appearance of so-called dark-skinned Negroes with woolly beards and afros. And best believe that the powers that be know exactly what the UFOs are and know exactly who's piloting them. And, there's been such, an uptick in UFO sightings all across the planet, within these last couple of years, a decade or so, that they're finally having to acknowledge to their existence because they can't hide it anymore, especially with these people recording these sightings and putting them, online. So Esau's trying to come out and control the narrative. But as we get closer and closer to the end, it's going to become even more evident that, this isn't extraterrestrials or the predator or alien or anything like that. This is a divine supernatural phenomena. And we are not to be dismayed at these things, the hopeful elect, because while the chariots are coming to bring great destruction, they are also the vehicles of our salvation, because the elect, which Abaratazam of that number, as well as you sincere Akim and Akwat out there are as well, hey, we're going to get beamed up on those chariots when the great destruction, takes place. When nukes are being fired to the ends of the earth during World War III. But before I get started, I'm going to get Jeremiah chapter 10, verses 1 to 2. Hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel, because salvation is only for the house of Israel. The nation of Israel consisting of your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as the Israelite foreigners who have been scattered amongst these different nations and through the generations have come to look like these heathens. But right now, the Most High is only dealing with the elect. He'll deal with the rest of the nation, when we're in the kingdom and they're reborn through the loins of the elect after they get their judgment on this side. But verse 2, thus saith Yahweh, learn not the ways of the heathen, following after these different holidays out here, these different religions, these different governmental, political structures, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, which these chariots are appearing where? In the skies, in the heavens. And we're not to be dismayed at them, because as it says in Luke chapter 21, it's either Luke chapter 10 or 21, it says, when all these things shall come to pass, and it lists, the end time signs that'll be taking place, like the famines, the earthquakes, and the pestilences, that we should lift up and look up our heads, because our salvation draweth nigh. Again, the chariots are the vehicles of our salvation. But for the heathens, as it says, for the heathen are dismayed at them, because for the majority of these people out here, they don't know what they are. They think they're actual aliens. They wonder if they're governmental projects, you name it. And them not knowing that they're the chariots, hey, they're dismayed at it, because Are they coming in peace? Or are they coming for war? Which, for you heathens, chiefly you Edomites or so-called white people, they are coming for war, because Yahushua, the Son of the Most High, is going to be returning with a fleet of chariots to make war against you as he's saving his elect. Let me see where I want to go first. This is Isaiah chapter 66. I'm going to read verses 15 to 16. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, through his son Yahushua, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire, because those chariots are going to be firing concentrated heat, so-called laser beams. For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead or judge with all flesh. And that sword is going into those nuclear missiles, because like I said earlier, during World War III, nuclear missiles are going to be flying, and the chariots are also going to be shooting that fire as well. And the slain of Yahweh shall be many. So for you heathens out there and the wicked of our people, hey, you should be dismayed at the signs of heaven, because what do they say? We do not come in peace. The chariots are only coming in peace for the elect of the nation of Israel. But now I'm going to jump to Revelation chapter 1. I'm going to start at verse 1. And what does the header read? The revelation, or the revealing, the manifestation. And it says Jesus Christ there. But the Messiah's true name is Yahushua. So the revelation of Yahushua Hamashiach, the anointed. The revelation of Yahushua Hamashiach, which the Most High gave unto him, to shew unto his servants things which must shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 7. For behold, he cometh with clouds, those chariots. And when you go to Psalms 104, about verse 3, it says, the Most High maketh his chariots like the clouds. So in the scriptures, when you see clouds, sometimes they can be synonymous for the chariots. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. Which, on a quick side note, that goes into reincarnation, because those Roman centurions that pierced Yahushua on the cross back then, hey, they're back here today to receive that judgment. And all kindreds or nations of the earth shall wail because of him, the heathens being dismayed at the signs of heaven, because the Lord is coming to render his anger and his fury, his rebukes with flames of fire, with those chariots. Even so, Amen. I might skip that one, but I'm going to go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. I'm going to read verses 1 to verse 5, because again, we are not to be dismayed at the signs of heaven, because these are the vehicles of our salvation. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, which is what the men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, are doing by going out onto the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, going into the gates of the nobles and condemning them, going into the scriptures and telling you Edomites, so-called white people, who you are, and that you're going to be taken out of power and then going to slavery along with these other heathens, that the wicked of our people are going to be judged for the sins they're committing, and that we are the children of Israel, and that we will be saved by the Hamashiach, Yahushua, by the chariots. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. These heathens, as well as the wicked of our people, that, come by the camps and scoff and say, you don't know what you're talking about. The Bible's a white man's book. You believe in fairy tales, all the bullshit we've heard before. Well, one thing, myself and other brothers have noticed is that you're seeing these scoffers get less and less out here. Why? Because these prophecies are speaking. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, us getting beamed up onto the chariots, so far beyond all that they looked for. Because these people out here, the last thing they're looking for is a bunch of niggers, spics and tontos to get beamed up onto UFOs. And actually, before I go forward, I'm going to get Revelation chapter 11. I believe it's verse 12. Here it is. Revelation 11, verse 12. And they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, Come up hither. And they ascended up to heaven in a cloud, the elect getting beamed up onto the chariots, and their enemies beheld them. And what it's saying, Revelation 1, verse 7, all eyes shall see Yahweh's second coming. And what? Back in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 2, when they see it, when our enemies behold the elect getting beamed up onto the chariots, which Abaratazam of that number, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, dismayed at the signs of heaven, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. Really, that's the main point. But, let's get back to this clip. And this is a fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
Well, the Department of Defense has a new director this morning, a new director put in charge of AARO, which is the office in charge of investigating UFOs and UAPs. Yes, the Department of Defense has just announced their new director, and it's a curious choice because he's a former NSA scientist, and the NSA has deep connections to the cover-up and the secrecy surrounding these projects. So will we see truth now? Will truth finally hit the airwaves? Will we learn about all of these black projects that the government has been...
And the official narrative is just going to be more bullshit. They're going to tell you, it's either Russian or Chinese satellites or vehicles. It's actually extraterrestrials coming from another planet, aliens. Hey, the only place you're going to find the truth of what these so-called UFOs are and who's piloting them is from the men of the Lord, the prophets. Again, chiefly GMS or Great Millstone.
Carrying out for many, many decades. Or will there be more of a cover-up? Let's ask one of the finest, one of the most well-respected ufologists in the world. That is Dr. Michael Salla, author of many incredible books on these programs, and he writes at exopolitics.org. And Michael joins us now. Doctor, great to see you as always. Welcome back to the show.
Great to be here, Clayton.
So what did you make of this new appointment at AARO? First of all, maybe you can set the stage for our audience that isn't familiar with AARO. If they're sitting there saying, "Oh, this is all craziness. This isn't actually an office in the United States government." What does AARO do specifically? AARO.
Well, the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office was set up in 2002 to study UFO reports, or UAPs as they are now known in the official literature. And because there had been this accumulation of reports of UFOs near Navy ships, near military facilities dating back to 2004, the Pentagon had set up a number of study groups. And quite recently you had Luis Elizondo.
So what? Just about 20 years ago, the heathens being dismayed at the signs of heaven.
Who was the first director of the ATIP program, which was the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, set up in 2009. And from that, you've had a number of successor organizations, which now end up with the AARO office, which is set up in the Pentagon, and it reports directly to the Deputy Secretary of Defense. So that's a very high-level official, Kathleen Hicks. And what the Pentagon is trying to do with the appointment of this new director, Dr. John Kozlowski, from the NSA, is to perform the duties of reporting accurately on UFOs, determining what kind of threat, what kind of danger they pose to military operations, to civilian aircraft, and to also release information to the general public about this phenomenon and to kind of acclimate the public to some of the deeper truths that are behind this phenomenon. And the predecessor of Kozlowski, which was the inaugural director of the ARROW office, Dr. Sean Kirkpatrick, I mean, he really was a gatekeeper, and he created...
That's really, the first couple of minutes I'm going to play. But as you just heard, all these agencies being opened up to look into the sightings of UFOs and what their intentions are, whether they mean harm or whether they mean peace. And like I've been saying all throughout the video, they mean both. For the heathens, they're the vehicles of your destruction, but for the elect of the nation of Israel, they're the vehicles of our salvation. And it isn't a coincidence that the U.S. and a lot of these different European Western nations have been building up space forces, because it's also a part of biblical prophecy for these heathens, chiefly Esau, to try to fight against Yahweh's second coming. But, without me telling you what the end result is, you should already know what the end result of that would be. But now, I'm going to jump to the 14-minute and about 20-second mark.
No offense,
Slovakia.
but if you're paying more than $30 per month on car insurance, you're getting ripped off. Guys, so...
At the moment, it's all done through a black budget, through covert projects, and while there are small numbers of anti-gravity craft capable of interstellar travel and using wormholes and so forth, these are kind of relatively...
That's where the BS comes in, because as it says in Job 9 verse 24, only the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, or these Edomites. Esau has only been able to go into so far out into the second heavens, Leo, or low Earth orbit. What took place in the 60s with Houston We Have Landed never took place. And Esau can't travel through, wormholes or have interstellar spacecraft. But, Esau does have advanced, anti-gravity and other type technology that he hasn't shown the public yet, that he's going to bring out with his space forces when he tries to fight against the second coming of the Lord.
Because it's only a very small segment of the entire planet that's behind it. So I think this is why you're having the US push the Artemis Accords, why they're doing technology sharing with many countries that are involved with the Artemis Accords. I'm working with a whistleblower called JP, and he said that he did a mission to a huge spaceport in Alabama, and he said that there were pilots from approximately 30 nations being trained to fly these flying saucers.
In Alabama.
That were built by Nordics in Alabama, in an underground facility, a huge spaceport in Alabama, near the caverns, near Huntsville, Alabama, where they have massive caverns down there. There's a massive spaceport, and you have hundreds of these flying saucer craft there, and the Nordic extraterrestrials responsible for that port are trained.
And no such thing as a Nordic extraterrestrial. But that's the point I wanted to get, where he's talking about you've got pilots from different countries training on these advanced vehicles, and they're training to what? Eventually fight and die against, Yahweh and that fleet of chariots he's coming with. But that's it with that clip. Now I'm going to go to Revelation chapter 12. I'm going to start at verse 7. And there was war in heaven. And this isn't talking about the fallen angel, Satan, or the Nephilim, or anything like that, fighting against the Most High in heaven and being cast down. That's all Saturday morning cartoon nonsense. Go read Job chapter 1 and Job chapter 2. Satan never went against the Most High. He's actually the top angel of the Most High on the left hand, just as Yahweh is the top angel on the right hand. So this war in heaven is talking about these heathens, chiefly Esau, fighting against Yahweh's second coming. And in the scriptures, you've got three heavens. The first heaven, which is the regular sky. atmosphere and all that. The second heaven, which is space, and the third heaven, which is the spiritual realm where the Most High dwells. And this war in heaven is going to take place in the first heaven and, a little bit of the second heaven. Michael and the Archangel Michael is going to be returning with Yahushua as well. And his angels fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels. And that dragon is speaking of, this current system of Esau Edoms running the planet, the reincarnated Roman Empire, the NATO EU system that the US is at the head of, those iron toes mixed with miry clay in Daniel chapter 2. And the angels of the dragon is his military might, his fighter jets, his space force assets, you name it. But as it's about to say, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil or deceiver, and Satan, the accuser. And Esau was, that serpent in the garden, though, he wasn't known as Esau back then. You're just, just as the children of Israel weren't known as the Israelites until Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Back then you had the Adamites and you had the seed of the serpent, the seed of the wicked, which, eventually became the seed of Cain and then the seed of Esau. And that great dragon, when you read up in this chapter, it talks about it being a great red dragon, which was referring to the ancient pagan Roman Empire, which was ruled by the Edomites. And again, we're in the last leg of it, that reincarnated Roman Empire. But as it said, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, which we can clearly see Esau has done that. He's hidden who the true children of Israel are. Those Amalekite Edomites say that they're the children of the Most High. He comes with his pseudosciences and, theories of evolution to discredit the Bible. He tries to make you think that there's no such thing as a man or a woman. All this madness that he's got these people, deceived by. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with them. Hey, a first round knockout. When Esau tries to fight against Yahushua and the heavenly host, hey, he's going to be, he's going to be just completely, decimated. And then after that, that's when Yahushua and the 144,000 are going to come off those chariots and begin enslaving the remaining heathens, beginning with these elites like the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, who I can damn sure guarantee know that those UFOs and who pilots them aren't little green men from Mars. But that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Mabal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.